ProGold XP Online Tutorial. Topic 7. Accounts Payable. The Accounts Payable tab holds the vendor records that are used for processing payments and includes areas to manage your payables. During this topic, we will cover managing vendor records, establishing vendor balances, and entering and paying bills. Creating vendors. In the Payables tab, click on Work with Vendors. This is where the vendor records are stored. There are 3 types of vendors: agents, employees, and vendors. When an agent or employee is created in agent information or payroll, ProGold automatically adds them to the vendor records. If an agent's commission check is made under another name, for example a company, then you can alter the vendor record for that agent and it will change how the commission checks are cut without changing how the agent is listed in the properties area. In the quick find at the top of the screen, you'll be able to see the entries already made. Most of these entries are because of your agents. There's also 2 other records, None and Select Vendor. These records are very important and should never be altered or deleted as they are used throughout ProGold, especially for commission deductions. When you are setting up new vendors, make sure to create a vendor record for your company as well. The system will use that as the recipient for the company checks. To add a new vendor, click New in the bottom left side of the screen and fill the information out. The red fields are the only required fields, but if you do enter the address into the vendor record, then the system will print that on the check when it is cut. At the bottom of the screen, there are 2 areas with blue headers: 1099 information and bill payment information. The 1099 areas for vendors that require 1099 reporting. Check the 1099 box and fill out the federal tax ID, and ProGold will keep track of the 1099 information. Bill payment information has payment terms and the default expense account for that vendor. The default expense account allows you to select what GL account will default. When you use this vendor, the default account will automatically fill out in the payable screen. Vendors can be added on the fly as you create checks, but the more you enter ahead of time, the less you will have to enter later. If you are no longer using a vendor record, then there is a button in the vendor record to move them from active to inactive. Click Done in the bottom right corner to save and close the record. Enter a bill and vendor beginning balances. From the Payables menu, click on Enter and Pay One Bill. All invoices are entered into ProGold from this area. To enter a new bill, click New in the bottom left corner of the screen and begin filling out the bill information. A vendor can be selected from the drop-down, but if they are not yet entered into the system, then use the Add Vendor button to create the vendor profile. The fields in red are required, so invoice date, due date, invoice amount, and GL account need to be entered. When selecting the GL account, you can either begin typing the account number into the field or double-click in the field to access the search screen. You can also select as many GL accounts as you need. The other fields are optional, but allow more information to be kept within the record. If you look at the bottom of the screen, you'll see a button that says Post. This means the bill has not yet been sent to the general ledger. At this point, changes can still be made to the bill. When the Post button is clicked, an entry will be posted in the accounts that are listed on the right-hand side of the screen, and changes cannot be made. If a change is necessary after the bill has been posted, then click Unpost at the bottom of the screen to edit the information and post it again to the GL when the changes are made. After a bill is entered, Done will close the screen and return you to the Payables menu. Paying a bill. There are a few ways to pay bills. From Enter and Pay One Bill, you can both enter and pay bills. Another option is Pay Multiple Vendors, where you can pay multiple bills at one time, or you can use the Accounts Payable option. So bills can only be entered in one place, but there are 3 ways to pay them. Click on Enter and Pay One Bill in the Payables tab. In this screen, you can look at and pay one bill at a time. If you have multiple bills due for the same vendor, or you would like to pay a few bills at once, then one of the other options would be better. To pay the bills shown, you first need to know if you are paying by check, or by electronic payment. To create a check, look towards the bottom of the screen and pick the checking account from the list under Pay from Account. Once the account is selected, the system automatically fills out the date and the amount. To the left of the account are two buttons. The one that says Pay will create an electronic payment. If you are writing a check for the bill, click on the button that looks like a little check. If you click on the check button, a blue box will appear and allow you to verify the check number. This is your only opportunity to verify and/or change the check number. Once that information is correct, click the OK button at the bottom of the box and OK to the message that appears. The check screen will appear and you will notice there is not a post button at the bottom. A payment automatically posts the general ledger. If everything is correct on the check, then it is ready to print. Before you print a check for the first time, be sure to determine how the check stock should be fed in your printer to print correctly. As you view the check in the check writer, you'll see a red stamp in the upper right corner that says Bill Payment. This lets you know where the check was created from. To the right of that is a little pencil icon that will take you to the bill for this check. Click the Print button at the bottom of the check writer and select a format for the check to print. From there, you have the option to preview what the check will look like or send it to your printer. When you are finished, click Done to return to the Payables menu. To pay multiple bills at one time, go into Pay Multiple Vendors. It will show you a list of bills that have been entered but not yet paid. From the screen, you are able to select any of the bills to pay and can pay the entire amount owed or just a portion. Select the bills to be paid by checking the box next to those bills. Verify the Amount to Pay column in the far right side is the amount you would like to pay the vendor. And if you only want to pay a portion of the bill, then make the change in the Amount to Pay column. Once you select the bills to pay, click the Summary button at the bottom of the screen to verify what you're electing to pay, and from there you can click Create Checks. The third way to pay bills is through the Accounts Payable icon. This allows you to pay bills for one vendor at a time and make payments by credit card. Unlike the Enter and Pay One Bill option, you can pay multiple bills for one vendor at the same time. Once you select a vendor, the system will show a list of bills due for that vendor, and by default it wants to pay all of the bills due. However, you can decide which of the bills you would like to pay. In the upper right area, select the vendor that you would like to pay. Below that is an area to select what type of payment is being made, whether it's by check, credit card, or other. Select the payment method that you will be using. In the middle of the screen, you will see a list of all the bills for that vendor that have not been paid. Next to each bill is an icon with a yellow stack of coins. Clicking the icon selects that bill to be paid and fills out the Amount to Allocate field on the right side of the screen. If you are not paying the full amount of the bill, then change the amount in the Amount to Allocate column. Once you have selected the bills to be paid, the system will total the amount for you in the lower right part of the screen. That amount needs to match what is shown on the check or credit card payment in the upper left part of the screen. If the two do not match, then change the amount on the payment, and when prompted, click Yes so the system will also update the Amount Paid field. Verify the payment information is correct. For a check, verify the bank account, check number, and payee. When making a credit card payment, select the credit card to be used. Then click the Apply Payments button at the bottom of the screen. This will create the payment and bring up the check writer for the printing of a check if a check is being cut. Otherwise, for a credit card, it simply applies the payment. Click Done to either close the check writer or close the Accounts Payable screen and return to the Payables menu. Continue establishing vendors and balances in ProGold. Also enter any outstanding bills or bills that need to be paid into the Payables area. For any questions, please contact Taro's Enhancement Help Net at support@taronetwork.com.